Jai, Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who just like desire trees and fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen and conditioned souls. Father, Vaishnava. Marigolds, forget about it. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopijana Balaba Kiribadadare Gopijana Malaba Kiribadadare Yasodananda Braja Janonanda Huna Yasodananda Braja Janonanda Huna Jamuna Tera Panachahute Yamuna Tera Panachahute Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopijana Balaba Giribadu Rahute Gopijana
Balaba Kiri Baladahuti Yasunanana Prajadananda Yasunanandana Prajadananda Jamuna Tirabana Chaudhry Yamuna Tirabana Chaudhry Jai Radha Madhuva Kunda Vihahuti Jai Radha Madhuva Kunda Vihahuti Madhava Viharuti Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya also Tara Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Jai. Friends, say Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shitweda Garadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopakapata Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturidam Ki Jai Jagannatha Swami Ki Jai Yamudamai Ki Jai Shrimati Lassi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari 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 Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we are reading today from the 10th canto, 17th chapter, text 4, about Kaliya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vishwa Virya Madhavishtaha Kadraveyas Tu Kaliyaha Kadarte Kricha Garudam Swayam Tam Bubje Balem Vishavirya Madhavishta Kadraveyas tu Kaliyaha Kadarti Kritya Garudam Swayam Tamba Bubuje Balem Balem Vishavirya Madhavishta Kadraveyas tu Kaliyaha Kadarti Kritya Garudam Swayam Tam Bubuje Balem Vishavirya Badavishta Kadra Veyastu Kalyaha Kadarti Kritya Garudam Swayam Tam Bubuje Badam. Okay. Manabishta All right. Visha, because of his poison. Virya, and his strength. Mada, in intoxication. Avishtaha, absorbed. Kadriveyaha, the son of Kadru. Two, on the other hand, Kaliyaha, Kaliya. Akadarti Kritcha, disregarding. Garudam, Garuda. Swayam, himself. Tam, that. Bubhuje, ate. Balim, the offering. Translation: although all the other serpents were dutifully making offerings to Garuda, one serpent, the arrogant Kaliya, son of Kadru, would eat all these offerings before Garuda could claim them. Thus Kaliya directly defied the carrier of Lord Vishnu. So you can repeat. Whoops. Although all the other serpents were dutifully making offerings to Garuda, one serpent, the arrogant Kaliya, son of Kadru, would eat all these offerings before Garuda could claim them. Thus Kaliya directly defied the carrier of Lord Vishnu. So there's no purport by the servants of Srila Prabhupada, but I will read the short purports of Jiva Goswami, and there's another purport after that. He was proud because of power and poison. He was the son of Kadru, and thus the cousin brother of Garuda, whose mother was Vinata, sister of Kadru, which I talked about yesterday, but was his enemy's. Pride was another reason for taking the offering. He ate the offerings with disrespect for Garuda. Garuda heard from his servants that Kaliya had treated him as insignificant by taking the offerings by force. And so that's the only purport to this. So go back to the verse. Vishavirya madavishta kadraveyastu kaliyaha kadarti kritya garudam swayam tam bubuje balim. So Om Gana Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Meditam Yena Tasmai Shi Gurave Namaha. So what I'd like to talk about today is something that's near and dear to everyone's heart, which is pride and arrogance. And we'll start off this discussion with reading a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, the 16th chapter, text 4. It's actually quite an important verse. Dharmbo dharpo bhimanas cha, kroda pariyushameva cha, jnanam chabhijatasya partha sampadamasurim. So the translation is pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of the demoniac nature. Now it's, let me just look at this. Actually, it's very interesting in the word abhijatasya in this particular Sanskrit, which means someone who is born with these qualities. So this very much refers to Kaliya. And let me read Prabhupada's purport. In this verse, the royal road to hell is described. Wow. Let me repeat that. The royal road to hell. That means you think you're going. Royal road, in this particular context, means you think that you're going in the right direction and you're enjoying life, but you're going to hell. The demoniac want to make a show of religion and advancement in spiritual science, although they do not follow the principles. They're always arrogant or proud in possessing some type of education or so much wealth. They desire to be worshipped by others and demand respectability. I'm going to give some examples of this. Although they do not command respect. So this is actually interesting. Like, this is a common saying, one should not demand respect, one should command respect. You understand? Demand means like, because I have a particular position, you know, I'm a sannyasi, bow down, mister, as the song goes, bow down, Mr. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. But they command respect. And you see that Prabhupada actually commanded respect just by his demeanor. Over trifles, they become very angry and speak harshly, not gently. They do not know what should be done, what should not be done. They do everything whimsically according to their own desire, and thus they do not recognize any authority. Sounds like political leaders, and we know. These demoniac qualities are taken on by them from the beginning of their bodies in the wombs of their mothers. And as they grow up, they manifest all these inauspicious qualities. Wow. So, I mean, just referring to Kaliya's past, he did have that particular mentality from his past life, because as we've mentioned many times before, that in his past life he was a sage, and as a sage he wouldn't share his cave with other sages. So the mentality or the subtle body one carries from one lifetime to another. Of course, Krishna gives that description in the Gita. Let me just turn that off so I don't have to see that. Krishna gives the description in the Gita that just like the air carries aromas, that the soul carries its mentality from one lifetime to another. So that's the subtle body. So Kaliya definitely had that particular type of subtle body. And to further enhance his pride, he was given a very strong body. And we can understand from the description here that he was actually the most powerful of all the Nagas there on this island, the island of the snakes. So he became very proud because of that. So let me read, let me read what happens when one has all these material attributes. And this is from the 11th canto. One has all these material attributes and is not God conscious. And this is from Narada's teaching to Vasudeva. This is talking about kings and Brahmins who have material attributes, but they're not religious, because in the beginning of this chapter, I believe, the question is raised. Yes. This is chapter 5 in the 11th canto, if you want to look it up. In the first verse, the question is raised. King Nimi further inquired, "My dear Yogendras," this King Nimi inquired from the Yogendras, "all of you are most perfect in knowledge of the science of the self. Therefore, kindly explain to me the destination of those who, for the most part, never worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So, Hari, who are unable to quench their material desires and who are not in control of their own selves. And in text 6, there's an interesting statement about arrogance, because today we're talking about arrogance. "Ignorant of the art of work, such arrogantly proud fools, enchanted and enlivened by the sweet words of the Vedas, pose as learned authorities and offer flattering entreaties to the demigods. So I'm not going to read, so maybe I should read this. Anyway, don't have to read the purport for that particular verse. So, anyway, so the point is, as mentioned by Queen Kunti, Janmai Shvarya Shutashoshibir Edamana Adapuman, that there's these different factors in this world that instill some pride in us. You know, Janma, good birth. I remember when I was young, forgive me for this one, I was told that I was from one of the chosen people. Forgive me for this. And not only was I one of the chosen people, I mean, actually it's a particular religion which we shall not name to avoid offending anyone, that we're the ones who are actually chosen by God. You know, we're very special. God's gift to whatever humankind. And not only that, I was told that our family was the best amongst the chosen people. So that I was instilled with a sense of pride. And, you know, and not only that, but my son is the best, which was me, actually. My mother would tell me this. So that's Janma, you know, birth, and then Aishvarya, opulence, money. We see one has a lot of money. Actually, this is the description given in the Bhagavatam about the story of Manigriva Nala Kuvara, who were so proud because of their father's opulence. Their father Kuvera was the treasurer of the demigods, that they dared to stand in front of Narada Muni completely naked like that. I mean, the ladies that they were having an affair with, sorry about that affair, but anyway, they were in the water with him, Mandakini, Ganges. They covered themselves because they were humble. But they were thinking, you know, hi Narada, basically. It's Narada Muni, no obeisances, and just like, hate to use the word, mooning him. But they, and then they got cursed because of that pride. And in that part of the Bhagavatam, it describes that having this wealth, Aishvarya, increases one's pride, and then Krishna cuts that down. And then Janma Aishvarya Shrutasha. And then learning is another problem. When one is very intelligent, one can juggle words in different ways. And of course, there's example in the Bhagavatam is of the Brahmanas who were performing the sacrifice, and they were very proud of their intelligence and ability to perform sacrifices. And when Krishna asked through the cowherd boys for some food, they just ignored them. I mean, that's real pride. At least they should have said, well, can you wait a few minutes? You know, we'll give you the food after the sacrifice. But they just ignored them. They made believe that they didn't hear the cowherd boys. Whereas their wives, actually getting the point that women are actually more qualified in devotional service anyway, whereas their wives ignored their husbands. It's described in the Bhagavatam that when Krishna's cowherd boys, they went to the wives and said, Krishna, Balaram are hungry. The wives just took everything without even asking permission from their husbands. And the husbands basically said, where are you going? And they just ignored their husbands and brought everything to Krishna. So you see the benefit of being humble in Krishna consciousness. And I'm going to explain in a few minutes how to be humble. Janmaishwarya, Shrutasha, and Shribir, you know, one is very proud of one's material beauty. And you see this many times. I can't think of an example right now. I'm sure there is an example in the Bhagavatam about someone's beauty. Actually, there's that story about Narada Muni, but anyway. Remember the story of Narada Muni, where Narada Muni was cursed to have a face of Hari, or a face that, what? A monkey face. So, Anyway, that's not a Bhagavatam story. It's in one of the Puranas. I don't know even know if it's bona fide. But in any case, we become proud of these things. And let's see, or one's strength is described here. One's strength or one's heroism. Actually, the word virya not only means strength, it means heroism, just like Srila Prabhupada gave me the name Veer Krishna, which is a Bengalicized pronunciation of virya. It doesn't mean that I'm a hero. That means that I'm a servant of Krishna, who's a hero. Actually, when I took initiation, 4 devotees got the name Veer. There's Veer Krishna, Veer Mala, Veer Raghava, and Veer Lakshman. And you can read about that in one of Prabhupada's letters. So anyway, and then there's stories about that too. For example, when there was that marriage between Samba and Lakshmana, Balaram went to the Kauravas to try to make sure that everything was kosher with it. And sorry about that word. And then the Kauravas got really angry at Balaram. They refused to accept his entreaties. And Balaram, in order to curb their false pride, what did he do? He took his plow and began to drag the Hastinapur into the Yamuna. He just took his plow. So you find so many instances of this pride because of power, pride because of beauty, pride because of intelligence. And then you have Indra becoming very proud and trying to kill the residents of Vrindavan. Here's an example of pride because of intelligence. Balabhabata, this is a story in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, became very proud because of his intelligence, and he went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said to him that I've actually basically found some fault in Sridhar Swami's commentaries. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at that particular point, he just completely said, "You're a prostitute." Because anybody, of course he was making a play on words. He said anybody who finds fault or criticizes the Swami, because Swami at this particular point can also mean husband, and Sridhar Swami, he's a prostitute. And Balabhabata was completely shocked by that response of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And eventually Balabhabata's false pride became cured by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chastisement. So anyway, so the question is, how can we become humble? And of course we find in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshashtaka, Chanadapi Sunuchena, Torariva Sahishnana, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Siddhahari. That Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives this as a prerequisite in order to take shelter of Krishna's holy names. So what does he say? I mean, obviously you all know the verses. One has to be more tolerant than tree, devoid of all sense of desire for false prestige, ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So the key in this particular verse for me is amanina manadena, that one doesn't accept or expect respect, but is ready to offer all respect and service to others or for others. And this is an essential quality of a devotee. Actually, Prabhupada, in the early days of ISKCON, he never demanded respect anyway. But in the early days of ISKCON, he actually put himself into what would normally be considered a subservient position in relationship to the new devotees. We've mentioned before, Prabhupada had to wait in line while others were using the bathroom. Can you imagine it? There was like 5, 6, 7 people waiting to use. There's only one bathroom at 267 2nd Avenue. And that was, I think it was upstairs. There was just a sink downstairs. And devotees just didn't think anything of it, to make Prabhupada wait online, or to have Prabhupada clean up all the cooking utensils after there was a feast, or have Prabhupada cook the feast for them. devotees didn't think anything of it. They just thought, the Swami, he's a cool guy. And they just took advantage of that. But Prabhupada never complained about it. He never complained. He just continued doing his service in a very humble way, considering himself to be a servant of a servant of a servant of the Lord, who maintains the gopis in Vrindavan. And his godbrothers, some of them who are, don't want to use the word envious, but some of them who are critical, they criticized Prabhupada. They said, he was successful because he liked to hang out with these low-class people. But that's not the point. It's not the point that Prabhupada liked it. Prabhupada was disgusted having to live with people who had dog food or cat food or whatever in their refrigerator. But Prabhupada was tolerant in carrying out the mission of a spiritual master. So this quality of tolerance, which is listed by Lord Kapiladev in his list of the ornaments of a Vaishnava, what is it? Titikshava Kurunika Surada Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatra Sata Santrava Sadhava Sadhabhushana Jata Shanta Sat. Anyway, forget all the words. Sadhava Sadhabhushana. The ornaments of a Vaishnava are, first of all, tolerance. One cannot be tolerant unless you're humble. It's impossible to be tolerant unless you're humble. Unless you actually consider yourself to be a servant. If you're thinking, Ishwaraham aham bogi, Siddhoham balavan sukhi, I am perfect, I am powerful, I know everything. Let's say if you're intelligent, I know everything, and these poor fools, what do they know? Isn't it? This tendency actually affects us from time to time, especially those of us who have a little bit of material intelligence. Even to criticize myself, that I have some mechanical ability, and sometimes when there's something to be fixed, I actually think, I can do it. And someone asks, can you teach me how to do it? And I just say, you'll never figure it out. You'll never figure it out. I'm more intelligent. So there's pride. I catch myself all the time like that, doing this. So there's pride of thinking yourself better than others, or not understanding that Krishna, as he says in the Gita, the ability in men and women, and I'm the strength of the strong. So we just become very proud of this. I remember I had one godbrother who was very proud of his strength, physical strength. He would eat like a whole jar of chickpeas like this big in the morning for breakfast. And he was actually a guard of Srila Prabhupada. You probably know what I'm talking about. And he's just very proud of his strength. Then you get older, then Krishna takes this away. But anyway, it's all very temporary. So the way to deal with this thing is to actually just consider manina manadena, to actually do some humble service and consider yourself a servant of others. And, whatever you do, be ready to do whatever Krishna wants. We had many instances of devotees who thought they were too good to do a particular type of service, like cleaning the toilets or something like that. Of course, nowadays we have to hire people, of course, under normal circumstances to clean the toilets. But when I first joined the movement, the first lesson I had was that I had to clean the toilets. And I had never made my bed for my whole life, nor cleaned the toilets, nor swept the floor, nor done any of these things. So actually it's described in about a brahmachari life. What is that? Brahmachari gurukule vasandanta gororhitam. What does that mean? That one goes to the ashram of the spiritual master, the brahmachari, or brahmacharini, as the case may be. That training is essential to become Krishna conscious. So that's one of the problems nowadays, is that a lot of devotees are joining and they've never really had that full immersion experience in Krishna consciousness, right? like Adi Purusha's never had the full immersion. They never had the full immersion where you just like you're trained up, vasandanda. And we're not talking about the Gurukul for little kids because, that's another transcendental subject matter. I mean, like a live-in school, I have my own opinion about those things. But we're talking about a full immersion in Krishna consciousness where you're actually trained to consider yourself a servant. So here I was, coming from the best family. That wasn't the name of my family like yours, but anyway, the best, the best, sorry about that. That wasn't my intention. Coming from the best family, the cynosure of my mother's eye, whatever. And all of a sudden, okay, clean the toilet, brought to so-and-so. And I had to do it and clean the pots, Krishna's pots. And then what to speak of going on Sankirtan and tolerating the insults that people would give you on Sankirtan. I never got insulted my whole life. Everybody was just telling me how good I was. And so that's the advantage of going out and distributing books, isn't it? Because you go out and distribute books and you think that everybody's going to say, Jai, thank you for coming. I want to become a devotee of Krishna. And then you realize that some people slam the door in your face. Other people tell you to get a job. Other people tell you you're going to hell. I mean, it's quite interesting, the variety of chastisements you get when you're on Sankirtan. I was in Texas one time, someone pulled a gun out on me and said, boy, you better be careful, if you value your life. It was in Dallas, Texas. Another time I was in, where was it? Oh, yeah, I think it was Mississippi or something, or Alabama. And the police pull up and they said, you better get out of town if you know what's good for you. And so we go out of town. The next town, the police are waiting for us because they radioed ahead. The next town, they were waiting for us again. And so, anyway, it was a lesson in humility. But the problem is, when you actually get older in Krishna consciousness, people start giving you respect. Actually, Jayananda Prabhu dealt with it in a very interesting way. He said, when you're long time in the movement, and just paraphrase it, the people naturally respect you. In other words, he was thinking, I'm not deserving of respect. And Jayananda was always ready to do some menial service. I mean, there's so many stories about Jayananda Prabhu, how people would come to the temple and he'd be taking out the garbage and he was the temple president. Or I remember going to the temple in San Francisco one time, and I wanted to speak to Jayananda, and all I could do was talk to his legs who were sticking out from underneath the car. I didn't talk to his legs, but I mean, just talk to him as his legs were sticking out from. So he was just like a humble servant, and he would stay awake all night doing service, and he was the most advanced devotee in the Krishna consciousness, in San Francisco at least at that particular time. So he was a very, very good role model in that regard. So, but as one gets a position in Krishna consciousness, one becomes an older devotee and a Prabhupada disciple. That's even better. So, or one takes sannyas, or one becomes a guru. Then there's that great danger of this pride, the arrogance, and we've seen it. I've seen it myself. And so one has to be very, very careful in dealing with these opulences that one has been given by Krishna. Whether it is a position, beauty. Well, I don't have to worry about that one. But my beauty got up and went. Anyway, so whether it's beauty or learning or any of those things, or position, I mean, these are all entanglements that one has to just really somehow or other not identify with. These are all upadhis. Upadhi means designation. And just identify yourself as a servant of, that means a servant of everybody. And then you can overcome this tendency towards arrogance. Because the manifestation of arrogance, actually the Gita, let's go back to the Gita again, is anger. Of course, the first manifestation is you're arrogant. but it's pride, arrogance. So actually, Prabhupada in his translation gives like what happens when you become prideful. Your pride, arrogance, conceit, then anger, and then you become harsh, and ultimately you become ignorant. So, anyway, so we can overcome these tendencies that we were born with, abhijatasya, as described here in the verse, by continually remembering our position, chanting the holy name, serving the Vaishnavas, etc. Okay, on that happy note, we'll leave it open for questions. Anyone have any questions? What? Yes.
Is it because there are people with who can control their emotions? Are those the pure devotee? Is that what's known as a pure devotee?
Well, pure devotee, what's known as a pure devotee is that he just wants to please Krishna. And based on his desire, we were talking about this in our Gita class at night, that the strength of love, and especially pure love, is so powerful that it enables one to do miracles, like to ignore or to control whatever other desires are there, to control actions, to focus your mind. So that's a pure devotee.
So the pure devotee is someone who can control their mind.
Yes, because he loves Krishna. He's not just like a yogi, a hatha yogi or whatever type of yogi, who controls his mind just because he wants liberation, and then the mind goes out of control. Because the love, the devotion, is a higher, it's just a stronger energy. Just like, and I gave the example last night in my class, like the love that a mother has for a child is like that. So she not only it's not even a question of controlling the mind is focused on her. She doesn't even, she transcends the mind in one sense. I mean, not in a spiritual sense, but she transcends things. And I gave the example that when a mother changes, the diapers of the child, she's not thinking, yuck. If you ask me to even think about it, I think, yuck. And the example I gave in the Gita class was Abhiram Prabhu's example. That Abhiram, this is from memory, that Abhiram was talking about his service to Prabhupada, that Abhiram was taking care of Prabhupada, and in his care for Prabhupada, he sometimes had to cleanse, different bodily fluids. And Prabhupada looked at him one time, and Prabhupada said something like, this is horrible, isn't it? Because Prabhupada was testing his devotion at that point. So, because the mother isn't thinking, at least, and I'm not saying every mother, but a good mother, my mother, the mother, whereas my father one time changed my diapers and he got so disgusted he went away. He didn't leave the house, but he never did it again. Shows the love of the mother. So anyway, getting back to the Abhiram story, that Abhiram was doing this in Prabhupada in order to test it, because he mentioned that Prabhupada, he was very regal by nature. And Prabhupada really didn't want to take service from other people or consider himself like that to be dependent on others, strong sense of autonomy. So Prabhupada said to Abhiram, this is simply something horrible or disgusting or something like that. And Abhiram said, no, Prabhupada. And basically, I don't remember the exact words, but this is, I like doing this, basically, and this is out of love. So it's not that Abhiram was thinking of controlling his mind. It would transcended controlling the mind. Love transcends controlling the mind. With Hatha Yoga, and we're reading that portion of the Bhagavad Gita right now, about, at least Prabhupada mentions in his purport of the process of Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Asana, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dharana, and samadhi, then one is trying to do it forcefully. One is actually controlling the mind. But the devotee, his mind naturally becomes attracted. And of course, the example is given in the Bhagavatam, just like the Ganges or a river flows down to the ocean, his mind is naturally attracted. In the higher stages of devotional service, when a devotee tries to think of Maya, he can't do it. The mind naturally goes to Krishna. In our stage, or at least my own stage, not criticizing anyone here, when I try to think of Krishna, the mind naturally goes to Maya, right? That's a lower stage of devotional service. Krishna, no, Maya. Star Wars. So that's love. So there's no question of actually endeavoring to control the mind for a pure devotee, because the mind automatically becomes fixed on Krishna. On that happy note, let us... All right. Jai Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Just a little lever here. Each time you close it, this opens it right here. And when you finish using it, close it. Okay. Okay, we're going to have a song about Lord Nityananda. All right. Uh-oh. What happened here? Uh-oh. Something happened to this harmonium. Nitai pada kamala Koti chandra shushi tala Koti chandra shushi tala Yechaya Jagachuragai Hey no nitai pine mai Radha Krishna paite nai Radha Krishna paite nai Drinakuri Daro Nitayar Pai Say sambandha nahi jahar Brija janma gela uttar Brija janma gela uttar Say pakshu baro Chara Nitaina Bolino Muke Machilo Samsara Suke Machila samsara suke Vidyakule ki koribe chara Ahankare mata hoya Nitai pada pasha riya Asachere Satchakore mane Nitaye Koruna Hoibe Raje Radha Krishna Hoibe Naro Nitaye Charana Dukane Nitaya Charana Sacha Dagara Sevaka Nitya Nitai pada sada koro arsa Narottama Boroduki Nitai more korosuke. Rakoranga charanera batsa. Nitai padakamala. Goti Chandra Sushi Tala. Ye Jaya Jagaturagaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Ram, Agalokinandarat, Agalokinandarat. Narat, Agalokinandarat, Agalokinandarat. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Sri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidakacharya, also tell us it's a Srimad, His Divine Grace Sabaya, Chaitanya Bhaktivedanta, Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Adadagoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Param Say Gahoshi Krishna Chaitanya, Rabbanichananda Shidwaita Gadadha, Shivasati Gaur, Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go, Makapasayam Kun Radhakunda, Giri Go Gadadha Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Machuradam Ki Jai, Jagadasami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shimani Lasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta, Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Pragananda Hari Hari. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, we will read the translation. In this material world which is progressing toward hell, there's always a blazing fire and everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, if the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which are cooling like the shining of millions of moons. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult to approach Radha and Krishna. Anyone who does not establish their relationship with Lord Nityananda is simply spoiling their boon of a human birth in the animal propensities of sense gratification. Never say the names of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. They become absorbed in so-called material enjoyment, and their academic education and birth in a high family or great nation will not protect them at the time of death. They have become maddened by a false concept of bodily life, and thus they have forgotten their eternal relationship with Lord Nityananda. Such forgetful persons accept the illusory energy as factual. When you achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are not illusion. They are a fact, and anyone who engages in the transcendental loving service of Lord Nityananda immediately achieves their transcendental position on the spiritual platform, which is eternal and blissful. Therefore, always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Narottam Das Thakur says, "My dear Lord Nityananda, I am very unhappy, so I am praying to you to make me happy. Please keep me in the corner of your lotus feet." Narottam Das Thakur Ki Jai. So, is there incense or something burning? It's really heavy. I can hardly breathe. Is anything burning there? No.
No, it's incense. There's some deadly incense there. Anyway.
No, it's incense. There's some deadly incense there. Anyway, so see if anybody has any questions. Here we'll go back to our
and
people
taking
on.
off of mute. All right.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Any questions from anybody online? Nobody has any questions. It's pretty good. Everybody's understood.
Hare Krishna
completely.
Gurudev, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, I knew it was too early. So what is it? What question do you have, Nalinikant?
Gurudev, regarding Yukta Vairagya, you were talking in last two Bhagavad Gita classes. You mentioned at one point like those who are in householders' life and the motivation to work is like money, but if that money is used for Krishna's service, then it's all right. But uh, whatever we earn, we do not use everything for Krishna. We do not donate everything to temple. I mean, we still looking at our comforts. I mean, you can stay in small house and things like that, but we do not do. So
Then you are a rascal. No, I'm just joking. That's just a joke. It's a joke. No, because you're using your life in Krishna's service and you're taking care of your necessities. We mentioned that in the classes, in Bhagavad Gita class, that we all have different necessities. A sannyasi has a particular necessity, and even the grahastas, they have different types of necessities. We need a certain type of amenities in life. Everybody's different. Most of us, we need to have a bed, even though that's against principles. Anyway, most we had sometimes we get people move in the temple, and then fanatic devotees tell them, "You don't need a bed. Sleep on the floor. Beds are by it." Or someone comes to the temple, and they were told, "What is that? Oh yeah, told you don't need a spoon. Use your hands. So everybody has a different needs, and we're not talking about desires, we're talking about needs, and we should not resent it if someone has more needs than us. And just it's up to the individual to determine. I can't determine what someone's needs are, and those needs to take care of one's body are part of service to Krishna. So taking care of your body and family are part of service to Krishna. And you were doing very nicely because you have a nice house and you use it for programs when there's no coronavirus. So don't worry, okay?
Okay. Gurudev, how to demarcate or recognize needs and wants and like beyond the comforts, I mean beyond what is necessary.
Yeah. So how to recognize that? That's up to you. You got to be a little introspective. I'm not going to do it for you. You have to
Mm.
understand what you need, and also what. Sometimes you can increase your own facilities in order to preach Krishna consciousness. Like sometimes people get a bigger house so they can reach out to people and preach to Krishna and bring more people to Krishna. It's not. It takes a lot of discrimination to determine what you need for your service and for your physical necessities. So think
Okay.
about it. Think about it carefully.
Okay. Thank you, Gurudev.
Okay, so don't worry, don't worry. You are not a rascal. You are nice. As long as you follow your wife's orders, then everything will be all right.
Okay, Gurudev.
Okay.
Thank you,
So,
Gurudev.
so anyone else have any questions?
Hare Krishna Gurudev, can I ask something?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yes.
Okay. So my question is easier to practice for those who have better karma and
She's laughing. Anyway, is it easier to practice for those who have better karma? It
yeah.
actually may be harder to practice for those who have better karma because they're proud of different opulences. I had some good karma or whatever, and I was born in a wealthy family, so I'm thinking, I'm so great. So it's not. There's no material impediment. Ahaitakiya pratyata yatma suprasidate. But there are certain challenges in different that come from different positions that one was in before they joined the movement. I mean, everybody has different challenges, but I wouldn't say harder or easier. It's a question of different challenges. Okay? For those of you who don't know, that was Lalita Sundari who asked that question. She's in Slovenia. Okay. Oh my God. Looks like
Question?
Tulsi has a question, and Tulsi is in, I don't know where she is. Anyway,
In
so,
garage. I'm
so
in a
what's your
garage.
question?
Okay. So the dealing with the pride, and it's also one of the things that we get motivated. We motivate ourselves, and as we progress in spiritual life, Krishna reveals that we have to transform those motivations into love. But so sometimes bridging that can be kind of hard because we motivate ourselves by our pride.
Yeah, so we can motivate ourselves by our pride in Krishna, our gratefulness to Krishna, and our pride in the Vaishnavas, and pride in Prabhupada, pride in the spiritual master. So pride is all right, but it's all right to have it in the right person. So transform that pride by being proud of Prabhupada. But that doesn't mean that you're better because you're connected to Prabhupada. So you have to be careful of that one too. So maybe we should end. Now it's nice to see everybody. Actually, we had a nice group this morning and also on Facebook. So thank you very much. All glories to Prabhupada. Bye-bye. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada.